You've written a book.
Yes.
Tell us about your book.
Well, it's to the point you just brought up. It's about wealth. When I look at and think about wealth and what I just shared earlier about whether you make $30,000 a year or $5 million a year, your wealth is still your wealth. And what I found is, and particularly in the African American community, only 3 out of 10 African Americans have a will. That's a failure for our community. And some of that is cultural. We do not want to deal with our own mortality and morbidity. I write about my story in dealing with that and how that almost became a mistake in my family. But I also write about a lot of well-known people that we all know and respect. And let me say this, I write this as lessons learned, not a detriment of any of their characters, because I respect each and every one of them as individuals. But Chad Boseman's story has been in the news. You know about that. That was in my book that we finished at the latter part of the year. James Brown's story, 15 years, 12 lawsuits, 15 years to settle his estate. Prince's estate. At the time I documented in the book, the attorneys alone had billed his estate $10 million. Those $10 million would not get to his heirs and the people he cared about. John Singleton, leader, Boys in the Hood, becoming of age of me as a young man, had some of those same challenges. But we also write about everyday people in our book. The school teacher who worked all of her life, paid for a house, died without a will. 2 kids, they get roughly about $10,000 apiece. That house is turned and flipped and sold for almost $200,000. That is wealth that is lost in our community every day. And so I'm here to strongly encourage everyone to have a will, a healthcare directive, and a power of attorney. So we write about that in the book, but I also write about stories, Doc, to show that sometimes it's not about the material things, it's about philosophy. So the latter part of my book is the discussion about what's important to me and my philosophy that I want to leave my kids, not just the material things. Oftentimes we don't take the time to write that. And to prove the point, there's a lady named Osceola McCarthy. Osceola McCarthy was a washerwoman. All she did all her life was wash people's clothing. That was her occupation.
What city? Where was she from?
She's from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Never owned a car. And later in her life, she left the University of Southern Mississippi $150,000 for African-American kids to have scholarships to go to the University of Southern Mississippi. President Clinton at that point in time acknowledged her, and it became a national story, and others contributed to and fully endowed those scholarships in her name. So she left a legacy, and that's my point. We all have a legacy to leave, and we can make a difference. And so for Osceola McCarthy, who never owned a car, left $150,000, reporter asked her, didn't you want to do something for yourself with that money? She said, I just did. That's the level of sacrifice and principle-centered that's not about material things, but what does your life mean and stand for is the reason that we wrote that book. And so this is an area we're passionate about, if you can't tell, Doc, but it's one I think we can certainly change the wealth gap in particularly as it relates to African Americans.